All rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending.
BYU elite three-point shooting team.
And the Cougars' best win of the season comes tonight.
They have been elite defensively.
Yes, they were on Tuesday. BYU taking down Iowa State at home, and now BYU takes on Texas Tech coming up Saturday. 2-2 in the Big 12 so far, and BYU 14-3 overall. Yesterday, College Basketball Report on Twitter, X, posted the teams with the highest Final Four odds according to Torvik Basketball Metrics. Torvik gives BYU a 17.2% chance of making the Final Four.
It caught our attention just by mentioning Final Four odds and having BYU involved.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. So based on this tweet, let's play a game where we make a statement and then ask how blue-goggled is this on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 is like, nah, I expect that. 5 is like, are you serious? This is so blue-goggled. Oh my gosh. So
they're giving BYU a 17% chance of making the Final Four.
Better than the #1 ranked team in the country right now, UConn. You looking at that?
Yeah, I'm
look at Big 12 teams, by the way. Houston, future Big 12 area.
Hey, and audience, this is them. This is not us.
Where's Kansas on this graphic, by the way? Why are they not on there? Where's what is this?
You can understand why that got our attention. Like, wait, what?
Yeah,
okay.
The blue goggle alarm, which we have here at BYUtv, just went off. Okay, so
alert.
There it is.
Blue goggle
We've
alert.
got a few of these statements, so here we go.
Blue goggle alert.
BYU will have a 500 or better record in Big 12 games. How blue goggled is that? 1 to 5.
You know what? I think I have it as a 3, and our producer's going to have to help me.
You're going to have to check the
I gave him
graphics.
the list, but I think they're at 500 right now. Can they stay there? You know, of course, a 5 would be absolutely. I'm not so sure, but just being close to there gets them in the NCAA tournament, which is the goal, and so that's where I'm at. What are you?
I put out a 3. It's not like automatic, but it's not crazy. Yeah, the fact that BYU could be 500 better, yeah, it's a 3. It's not like super high up on the scale for me right now. BYU's 2-2 at the moment. They're going to have a lot of tough games in the final 14 in league here. A 3. That's not a crazy statement. We're going to get a little crazier here in a moment.
Yeah, I think I went 4 now that I've checked my notes on that one.
Graphics like, Dave said 4, but then he said 3. It's all good.
All right, next one. BYU will finish top 4 in the Big 12. How blue-goggled is that statement?
I think that's a 4. Because top 4 would be super legit. Top 4, Dave, you're like a 3 or 4 seed, man. You are up there. Could BYU be a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament? That'd be amazing. This team certainly has the capability to do so. If they play like remnants of Tuesday, they could do that. But I don't expect Tuesday to be the norm. I expect Tuesday to be more of the norm when you're at home. But can BYU steal a couple more on the road? Certainly. Oklahoma State, you hope. West Virginia, you hope. And then maybe those are the 2 others you get. And then you get 3 others at home, and there's your at least 7. So I go 4. I don't think it's nuts, but it's going that direction. I'm looking for 5, 6, or 7 for BYU in these standings at the end.
I've got that as a 5, like the total blue-goggled.
Whoa.
Based on today where they're not healthy. Now, if Foose is healthy and Trevin Knell's healthy, even if Marcus Adams is healthy, then there's a team that could get to the top 4 in this league, a team that was picked to finish 13th out of 14 teams. So we're talking about a major leap. And again, they're at 500 right now, which is good. And they're not healthy. They've got to be healthy. So for this projection for me today to say they're going to be there in the top 4, I think that's a blue-goggled thing because they're not healthy. Now, get them healthy, and then we can do this quiz a bit later, and the goggles might be different.
Yes, they might be different. Last year, just looking at, again, 10-team league, not the 14-team league, to be in the top 4, you would have had to be 11-7 or better.
Yeah.
Last year. Year before that, just for a reference, 10-8 or better.
Where 9-9 got what?
9-9 would have put you at about 5th place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
if BYU finished 9-9 in league, which we were talking about this week, which would be phenomenal.
I'd be ecstatic.
Then fifth place is a 5 seed, isn't it? Maybe even better.
It'd be pretty good. Yeah. Here's what it looks like in the standings. You got a 4-way tie for first now. Houston, BYU, Oklahoma, Cincinnati, Iowa State, TCU, UCF, all 2-2. And then there's West Virginia, Texas. Some of you are doing horns down right now in Orlando. Oklahoma State 0-4. Texas at 1-3 is a bit of a shock right there. but that's what it looks like at the moment. It is very early. We're 4 games into 18, but so far so good for BYU. Okay, next one. BYU will make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
How blue goggles is that?
I got that as a 1.
Me too. 1. It's going to happen.
They're just sitting right there with the net as high as it's been, a net that stayed high even as they've lost.
Yep.
Where folks might think, well, the bottom's coming out now because they've lost 2 in a row and they fell 1 spot in the net.
No.
Now they're back up to 4 after beating Iowa State. If they get beat Saturday at Texas Tech on the road, a quad 1, at worst they'll fall 1 spot. And then they play Houston coming in on Tuesday, who's, what are they, 2?
Houston is 1 in net.
1 in net today. So if Houston comes into the Mary Center and beats BYU, what's BYU going to fall? 1 spot?
They might go up.
Yeah, they might actually go up.
But BYU's 4, so it's not like there's a lot of room
And
here.
it's like, what? And why do we care about the net? Because that's what the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee uses
That's what they care about.
to fill up the field of 68.
It's the sorting tool, as they say.
And so it's important, more important than all the other numbers.
Yeah.
But
New RPI with way, way better nuance to it. RPI is the worst. I can't stand RPI.
so look at those
happy.
numbers there.
What's not to like about this? Lenardi has BYU at a 5 at the moment. Let's go. I would take 7 or better. Anything 7 or better. I don't like 8-9 games at all. I don't think BYU will fall to a 10. But hey, let's go 4, 5, 6, 7. You're supposed 3 is too high for me. Like 3 would be amazing, but that is quite blue goggles. So I'm with you. I'm a 1. It's happening. BYU basketball has done something football did not, which is kind of get into league and get like a big win.
Yeah.
Football, I think next year starts to do that a little more, obviously, than they did this year. Certainly beating Cincinnati and Texas Tech at home were nice. You caught Texas Tech on a good day when they're playing a 3rd string. He coughs it up twice early in the game, and you take a big lead and you win. That was great. So, yeah, I'm a 1 on that.
And all these games help. UCF beating Texas helps BYU because BYU went to UCF and won.
Better
so
win.
BYU had last night off, and their net was strengthened.
Yes, because UCF
That's
goes.
how this works.
UCF goes to 67. They were 76. That's now a quad 1 win for
Right.
BYU on the road.
And now they have 3. There's only a handful of teams that have 3
That
in
can
the entire
say
country.
that, yeah.
So the math is on their side. All right, here's one.
Okay.
It's going to go next level. BYU will make the Sweet 16. How blue-goggled is that statement?
I'm going 4 on that. BYU's only done that twice. It required the National Player of the Year in Daniel R. Ainge and James Taft Fredette. Right. So I don't know Danny's middle name, whatever it is. We'll have to look it up. But it required, like, in a crazy good player. This is a great team, or very good, I would say, team for BYU. You could argue great, top 5 net. Come on. I'll go 4. 5 is like the top of the top, right? But 4 is like, okay, all it requires is 2 wins, Dave. And as you brought up on the phone call this morning, and I agree with, and have brought up on this program as well, great minds think alike, is that the key to getting the Sweet 16 isn't necessarily the performance in the tourney. It's getting a great seed so you play less competition, especially in that first round. In 2011, BYU beat a 14 and an 11 because Gonzaga upset 6 seed St. John's. Then they played a 2 and lost. There were no upsets. It was chalk. So if BYU can be, say, a 6 seed, you can play an 11, but then you're playing a 3. Like, you'd have to actually have an upset. So if BYU wants to make the Sweet 16, they kind of need to get to like the 4 range to be a little more comfortable with a 13 in the first round, and then you're playing a 5 where you're the better team in the second round. That's the key.
What made 81 so great is that UCLA and the Notre Dame, and then they had to try to beat Virginia to go to the Final Four.
Yep.
And Ralph Sampson was 7-4, and Jeff Lamp made all these outside shots, and that's where that ended. But you're right. I call it the Duke theory. You know, all the years when Duke, well, they're just going to the Sweet 16. That's what Duke does. They umpteenth year under Coach Krzyzewski, and that they're great. But where they won those games was during the regular season because they were always seeded against these less than teams. Duke didn't have to be Duke until the Sweet 16.
Yep.
So if BYU can maintain, I have it as a 4 too. If BYU can maintain a seed in the tournament, which gives them the upper hand in those first 2 rounds, then why couldn't they get to the Sweet 16? But if they got to beat UConn on the second day,
that's hard.
And it usually doesn't work out, and it hasn't in the past.
By the way, BYU was a 6 in 81. There were some real upsets there. BYU went through like some 3s and 2s and had some real upsets. It was awesome. Okay, last but not least, BYU, Final Four contender apparently, 17%. How blue-goggled is that? To have BYU in the Final Four?
Well, if you ask the Bellarmine head coach, who after the game against BYU said that's the kind of team that can win an NCAA championship. They got size, they got length, they got shooters. They can all shoot. They run, they defend. And here's a guy who'd won 400 and some games and had just gone through 6 P5s.
He had won a national title, right? Or has been with Louisville with Pitino won it.
So he knew he's Mr. Basketball from out of the Midwest. And so that's why his opinion resonated with us. Like, really, you're the first person that has ever said that after a game. And BYU beat him pretty good. But so that's the first time we started thinking, what? I got it as a high 5 because it just hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but magic has to happen. Once you earn the seed that gets you to the Sweet 16, then you need some magic. And we've seen the last couple of years teams catch that and get there.
FAU, the most recent one.
Even
San Diego State. Relatable team there.
And it's tough to predict magic because that just happens. If you ask Austin Collie, it just happens. And
and off the field.
So you got to get into the. You actually got to get into the tournament and have magic happen. So I got it as a 5, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility, which is why it's fun to talk about.
Can I say like 74 or something? Just Final Four would be amazing. I'd take a Sweet 16. I'd take one more win, after an initial win in the NCAA tournament. Right now, by the way, what's our expectation for BYU? Win one game in the tourney right now, probably. Get to and win one game. Expectation?
That would be, yeah. Whereas earlier in the season, it would be just get to the tournament. And now it's like, well, now you're there, you should win.
When the season started, I was like, just make the NIT. This is going to be a hard year. It's a big one. This team has overperformed so far. Let's keep it going. Our question of the day is this. What is your most blue-goggled take about BYU men's basketball right now at BYU Arnold's on X? BYU finishes in the top 4 of the conference and earns a double bye in the Big 12 tournament. That would help, too. Could you somehow get to like the semis of the Big 12 tournament? You've got a couple of big games. What if BYU is playing on Saturday night in Kansas City? That'd be amazing.
It'd be fun.
Andy Reid's there watching the game.
Of course he is.
It could all be great.
James Teal on Facebook. BYU should be undefeated in Big 12 so far. We laid 2 bad eggs.
Well done.
Luckily, it's not too late at all. We're definitely a top 4 or 5 Big 12 team and maybe better.
I don't feel the same way. Bad eggs are you get blown out to me.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, you're in that game. It gets away from you at the end. Baylor, you're in that game. Gets away from you at the end.
I think the last 2 trumped the first 2. And there were opportunities there. And there were opportunities to lose on the road at UCF.
Very much so.
But you know what? 2-2.
Yeah.
We're not going to be 4-0.
I'm happy at 2-2, man. Yeah. This is a tough league. BYU's won 2 in a row. These are quad 1 wins. One was a top 10 net win. Let's go.